complex, too fast, no time for P waves. SVT, tell them you're gonna kill them.
I stitched this, doctor, because I want to talk to you about SVT. And the joke is if you have SVT, they are going to briefly, they're going to stop your heart. And although it's brief, they just have to reset it. And there's a chemical that does that, and that will go with the rest of my story. Because this guy's a heart doctor who I stitched with, and he's joking, but it feels really funky. Okay, for the rest of my story, this has to do with what was going on in my life, and I was having several episodes of SVT. And finally, the ER was like, hey, we're tired of seeing you in here. You got to schedule, go to cardiology in the hospital that was 3 hours away and schedule a surgery, which would be an ablation to stop the SVT, which is not technically what I really have, but that's the easiest explanation. It's supraventricular tachycardia. And so, my son, in the middle of everything that's going on in my story, he is 25 years old at this time, and he decides that he's going to do a GoFundMe for me, not for the medical. It was because my house had just been burned down by my stalker, and the doctor said I would have to stay overnight at the hospital if I didn't have a place in St. George to stay. And then we were going to, I got a job in a town where my son worked and his job, and we were going to share an apartment, but I needed a first and last month's rent and a security deposit, which at this point, after what happened with my job at the post office and with what happened after this, it was a really cool thing to do. But I'm going to go on to showing how my family was very interested in gaslighting and alienating my son against me. There's multiple of these, but this one is about the heart thing. So my family is messaging my son through Facebook Messenger. And this is from my mother, who I had not spoken to for a while. And she writes to my son, "Hi, Elijah, how are you? I miss you and was looking forward to seeing you in September when I come to Utah. It seems like you are doing a noble thing and trying to help your mom in Page, Arizona. That's way more important than a buffet near me. I feel like I need to caution about describing your mom's condition and treatment. If, sorry, sometimes that errors in the way. There's a couple things that might be a concern of the description of the treatment stopping your heart in the ER. That's not something the ER would ever do because ERs don't have that level of cardiac expertise. And framing the procedure that costs $10,000 is also a tricky point. I think you frame it, the fundraiser, is simply you needing help for a bigger apartment or other expenses. You will legally be safer. Unfortunately, GoFundMe sees lots of fundraiser requests, and especially flags medical conditions that don't exactly add up. And that might cause concern. Are the description of the treatment. Okay, wait. I already did that. Needing a bigger apartment, sorry. Okay. So my son responds, "Hi, Grandma. The chemicals that they have administered to my mom 4 times in the ER, once in an ambulance, is called adenosine, and it does cause the heart to literally flatline. I know you aren't trying to accuse my mom of lying, but they actually give her the printout of the heart before and during the flatline and after. So I'm not sure how the description I gave is wrong, but I know she's honest. I know she's telling the truth." Okay. Yeah, so there it is. I know for sure. And this was his grandmother's, my mother's answer. It's good that you trust her. I hope both you and she are doing well. I love you both. At this point, I just need to say really briefly that that this goes along with my whole story where I've said that my family, first of all, never ever believes anything medical that I ever had. I was scheduled actually less than a month later for the ablation, and it went well. And then we were able to stay in a hotel by the hospital, and we raised enough. There was no point that anybody mentioned that they were paying for for surgery. That wasn't even listed there. I mean, it was like $130,000 to $150,000 procedure. And the GoFundMe was not for that. It literally said it was for the first and last month's rent and an apartment that we could jointly stay in. I started work a week after that ablation, and then I was climbing and doing like 5-mile, 10-mile hikes out in the Arizona desert for my work. And so, yeah, it never was framed as anything else, but this is how people gaslight and alienate your children, and they're still doing it. And they're still doing it. And that's why I've said a million times, I really hope that my kids are safe.